evening, Owls fans. We'll get ready for tonight's matchup between the Muncie Burris Owls and the Newcastle Trojans. We're going through the starting lineups.
A freshman wearing number 3, Grace Morgan. A freshman wearing number 6, Corinne Meyer. A freshman number 10, Rose.
The Newcastle Trojans.
And now, let's meet the roster and starting lineup for your Newcastle Lady Trojans. Tonight, the roster includes number 10, Ashlyn Carey. Number 11, Samantha Moore. Number 15, Kendra Sears. And number 16, Emily Lamb. Starting lineup now for the Lady Trojans, the 5'8" freshman libero, wearing number 2, Isabel Walker. A 5'8" sophomore outside hitter, number 3, Emily Scott. A 6' freshman middle hitter, wearing number 8, Layla Smith. A 5'10" sophomore middle hitter, number 9, Lauren Nicholson. A 5'10" sophomore right side attacker, number 12, Emily Thurlow. A 5'9" freshman center, number 13, Eliza Madden. And a 5'7" freshman defensive specialist, number 17, Taylor Thompson. The Lady Trojans are coached by Becca Merriam. Your officials for tonight's JV matchup, Tony Richard and Rob Wolfman.
I feel the master.
And here we go as the teams meet in the middle. Texas Roadhouse, Prime Trust Financial Federal Credit Union, Once Upon a Child, Creek Run Environmental Engineering, Rod Cross with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, Moe's Southwest Grill, Berrywinkle Frozen Yogurt, Central Indiana Orthopedics, Mahdi Grill, Star Insurance, O'Neill Associates, Savage's Ale House, Meeks Mortuary, Wendy Meyer Lula Rowe, Doug Meyer with State Farm Insurance, and Garris Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the official sponsors of the Dodge Report.
Ready to go, set number 1, Eliza Madden with the honors.
Madden to serve. And there's an ace for Nagel. Owls now leading 2-1. Short serve. There's the set, outside attack, and finds the back corner. That's a point.
Side out Trojans.
For Newcastle, and we're tied up at 2 points apiece. Lauren Nicholson back to serve. Meyer to Bracken.
Double hit.
Ball handling error on the Owls gives the point to the Trojans. Now leading 3-2. Street to Bracken, back set to Jones. She pushes it over. Off the block, Mormon's there. Jones tips it over. Tack and tipped out of bounds by the Owls. Trojans take a 2-point lead, 4-2. Meyer to Bracken. Mormon. Tack. Street pops it up to Bracken. She sets for Newcastle. And with that, Owls take a timeout as they trail 5-2. Like to thank Texas Roadhouse with legendary food, legendary service, all with lots of legendary fun. Call ahead seating at 765-282-7113. Enjoy a little bit of Texas right here in Muncie. Rod Cross with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. When it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it, so stop knocking on wood. Call Rod for all your auto, home, life, business, and farm insurance needs. Call him at 765-284-5543. And we're back to the action. Serve from Newcastle. Meyer. Bracken sends it up. Jones pushes it over. And ball handling error on the Trojans gives the side out to the Owls. Now trailing 5-3. Junior Sidney Jones back to serve. Short serve. It's popped up and pushed over and off the block. Oh,
net violation.
Net violation on the Trojans gives the point to the Owls. Now they still trail 5-4. Jones will serve again. There's the roll shot. Jones to Bracken, outside, back row attack.
Attack goes long, point Trojans.
From Meyer, but that rolls outside, and that'd be
carry up to the front row.
Side out for Newcastle. They now lead 6-4.
Jason Johnson into the Owls back row.
Johnson enters the lineup for the Owls. Nagel pops it up. Bracken. And it's pushed over the net by Mormon for the kill. Point to the Owls. They trail by 1, 6-5. Allison enters the lineup for the Owls. Mormon would be back to serve. Tipped over. Allison to Bracken. Street with the attack.
Double hit.
And another double hit. That'll tie us up at 6 points apiece. There's an ace for Mormon. Allison taking the lead, 7-6. Nagel punches it up to Bracken. Street sends it, but it goes long.
Side out Trojans.
Meyer returns it in place of Mormon.
Kendra Sears into serve.
Sears back to serve for Newcastle. Nagel dives for it, sending it up to Bracken. She sends it back in the street, and it got mistimed. That's a point for Newcastle. They now take the lead, 8-7. And
Kendra Sears on the
tipped out of bounds. That's a point to the Trojans, now leading 9-7. Nagel sends it over to Bracken. Sets up Allison with the cross court. There's the roll shot. Allison, and that falls out of bounds. Another point for the Trojans, now leading 10-7. Johnson, the Nagel, and Bracken swings it over. And the Newcastle swing goes into the net. That's a point to the Owls. Trailing by 2.
Rosie Bracken to serve.
Trailing 8-10. Bracken back to serve. Roll shot. Meyer knocks it up. Nagel runs under it. Meyer with the cross court or down the line. Middle attack. And that splits the defenders and gives a point to Newcastle. They leading 11-8.
Sidney Jones into the Owls back row. Walker to serve.
Isabel Walker back to serve for Newcastle. Meyer, back set from Nagel, right in the middle of the court. None of the Trojans were there. Point to the Owls. Still trailing by 2, 11-9. Serve from Street. Outside swing. Meyer tips it up, and Owls
Nicholson on the kill.
get under it. That's a point for the Trojans, now leading 12-9. Bracken, Nagel.
Double hit.
Double hit by the Owls gives a point to Newcastle, now leading by 4, 13-9. Bracken back to Nagel. Jones and rolls off the top of her fingertips, and that's a point for the Trojans. They lead by 5, 14-9. Nagel, back row attack from Meyer. Ooh, diving into the scorer's table. It's Madden, and that'll be a point for the Owls. They've broken into double figures, but trailing by 4, 14-10. Owls looking for a lineup check and make sure we have the right person serving. Avoid the rotational error. Served by Creighton Meyer. Setting into the net. Trojans dig it out. Send the free ball over. Street to Nagel. Allison, and that's going to sail out of bounds.
The tip goes long. Eliza met the
Trojans are back to a 5-point lead, 15-10. Bracken, Meyer, Mormon's going to send the free ball over. Cross-court attack into the block.
Side out, Burris.
And that lands on the Trojan side of the net. That's a point for the Owls. Nagel will be back to serve. The Owls trail by 4. And there's an ace for Nagel. And that one goes long. That's a point for the Trojans. Owls trailing by 4, 16-12. Lauren Nicholson back to serve. Meyer handles it. And gets knocked over but out of bounds. Point to Newcastle. They're back to a 5-point lead.
Side out, Owls.
Serving error gives a point to the Owls. Johnson enters the lineup for the Owls. She'll be back to serve. Placing Sydney Jones. Attack into the block. Owls are there. And that's a point for the Owls. That was a block of Street and Bracken. Long serve, and that goes out of bounds and point to
Ashland carry into the front
Newcastle.
Row. Scott to serve.
Serve from Scott into the net, point to the Owls on a series of service errors right here. It gives it back to the Owls. They're by 3, 18-15. High short serve. Right side attack, and that lands just inside.
To the back
Out of bounds line. That's a point for Newcastle.
Turbo back to serve.
19-15 is the lead. And that one goes long. Point to the Owls. Still trailing by 3, 19-16. Bracken back to serve for the Owls. It's tipped out of bounds.
Bracken on the game.
Ace for the Owls. Owls are within 2, 19-17. And that going goes long. Another service there. Another point for
Burris.
And with that, the Owls take a timeout. Want to thank Monroe Southwest Grill. There is no I in team, but there is in Burrito, offering delicious Mexican cuisine made from fresh ingredients that you love. Stop in at 909 West McGalliard in Muncie. O'Neill & Associates came from a unique, individualized custom plan using an independent perspective. With more than 15 years of dedicated service, O'NeillAssociates.com or call them at 765-896-9553. And Doug Meyer with State Farm Insurance. Contact Doug for all your auto, home, property, and life insurance needs. Find him at DougIsMyAgent.com. Bracken to Nagel, back set to Meyer. And the attack, Newcastle attack finds back line. That's a point for Newcastle. And they're back to a 4-point lead, 21-17. Meyer to Nagel. Street with the cross-court attack. Roll shot. Meyer digs for it. Nagel tips it over and finds an empty spot in the court. And that's a point for the Owls. Trailing 18-12. Sidney Jones returns to the lineup for the Owls.
The front row. Street to serve.
Street serve is over. Tipped over, and the Owls aren't there to cover.
Ashland Carey to serve.
Meyer sends it to Nagel. Jones sets up for the attack and it rolls off the top of her fingers. That's a point for Newcastle. Dave Turin enters the lineup for the Owls.
Ryan into the front row.
One. Street to Nagel. Page with the skill. Point for the Owls. They're trailing by 4. Mormon returns to the lineup for the Owls. Meyer will be back to serve.
Corinne Meyer to serve.
Cross-court attack. Meyer digs it up. Bracken sets it. And it's pushed over to the net. Pushed by a swing. There's the set. Tipped over. Bracken's there. Nagel. Horton. And that didn't clear the net and gives 4 touches for the Owls. And that'll set up set point for Newcastle.
Eliza Madden serving, set point.
And Servier gives a point to the Owls, still alive.
Nagel to serve.
They trail 24-20. Outside attack. That goes long, point to the Owls. Katie Nagel back to serve. Owls trailing by 3, 24-21. ace for Nagel. Nagel to serve. Owls trailing only by 2 now. Whoop, whoop. And timeout called by Newcastle. Want to thank Prime Trust Financial Federal Credit Union, where your story matters. They offer a variety of consumer and personal financial products and services, with 3 locations at West Bethel, South Madison, and North Broadway. As always, you can find out all of Burris Athletics scores, events, and news on Twitter at Burris Athletics 1. That's at Burris Athletics 1. Nagel back to serve. Owls trailing 24-22. Dug it out. Nagel sends it to Bracken. Mormon with the swing, and that goes out of bounds.
Goes wide.
And that's
25-22.
End of the first set.
Set to nil.
And the Owls fall 22-25. Joining us here in a couple minutes for the start of the second set. And welcome back, Owls fans, as we get ready to start the second set. Owls drop the first one 22-25. Kenny Nagel's the serve. And starts the Owls off with an ace. Point to the Owls. They now lead 1-0. Another ace for Nagel.
Nagel on the ace.
On a fast serve. Newcastle sets up towards the swing. Streets there. Brackett and Jones, and unfortunately that heads into the net. That's a point for Newcastle. Owls leading 2-1 though. Nagel pops it up. Bracken sets it over to Mormon. She sends it into the block. It's tipped right back. There's a swing and bouncing off a couple Owls, rolling out of bounds. It's a point for Newcastle. And we're all tied at 2 points apiece. Madden back to serve. Meyer to Bracken. Jones sends this one over. A swing into the block of Bracken and Jones. Josh at the net, and it's tipped backwards, and that lands on the outside. That gives the lead to the Trojans, 3-2. Nagel to Bracken, back row attack from Street. Cross-court attack, and Street, but that got knocked out of bounds. Another point for the Trojans. And that's an out-of-bounds point to the Owls now, trailing 4-3. J.C. Johnson enters the lineup for the Owls. And there's an ace for Johnson, and we're tied up at 4 points apiece. And it rolls over the net for another ace. Owls take the lead, 5-4. And that one doesn't get quite enough to roll over. And now send it back over to Newcastle, and we're tied up.
Front row, Nicholson to serve.
Tied up at 5 points apiece. Lauren Nicholson back to serve for Newcastle. Meyer dives for it. Bracken, Mormon off the block, and that's good for a kill. Point to the Owls. Owls retake the lead, 6-5. Connie Prater back to serve, or into the lineup in the front row. Grace Mormon back to serve. Check that. Right side swing, and Nagel, and straight line pass. Owls can't get there, and that's a point for Newcastle, and we're tied up at 6.
Scott to serve, actually carry to the front row.
Emily Scott back to serve. Sister Katie actually plays for the Owls on the varsity. Mary Street tipped over. Meyer sends it over, and Newcastle sends it back, but it goes out of bounds. Point to the Owls. Now take the lead, 7-6.
Bracken to serve.
Freshman Rosie Bracken back to serve. Low fast serve from Bracken. Outside swing into the block of Street.
Line violation, point Trojans. Correction. Point Owls on the line.
Point Owls. Line violation on Newcastle. Originally tried to call it on the Owls. They weren't even close to the line. Bracken's low fast serve again. Back row attack from Newcastle. And tipped up, and that goes into the stands. That'll give it back to Newcastle.
Kendra Sears into the back row.
Owls still leading, 8-7. Kendra Sears back. There's the serve. Meyer. Johnson Prater sends it over. There's the swing. Meyer dives, digs it up. Owls can't dig it out. And we're all tied up at 8 points apiece. Sears serve. Meyer to Bracken. Meyer sends it back over. Oh, and it's totally sent back. Nagel handles it. Bracken sets it up into the block. Free ball sent over, but it's out of bounds. Point to the Owls. They retake the lead, 9-8.
Mary Street to serve. Jones to the front row.
There's Street serve. Outside swing. Oh,
and the cross-court kill.
And that lands inbounds, and that is a point for Newcastle, and we're tied up at 9.
Isabel Walker to serve.
Walker back to serve for Newcastle. Street to Nagel. Jones with the cross court. And the cross court attack.
Carey on the kill.
From Carey, and that lands inbounds. And with that, the Trojans take the lead. Gracie Simpson enters the lineup in back row for Mary Street. Walker back to serve. Bracken to Simpson. Long free ball from Nagel. Carey. Meyer digs it up. Prater. Back set from Jones. Ooh. Last minute free ball for Newcastle. Nagel sends up Prater. She sends it to the back. Carey with the cross court. Meyer to Nagel. Prater again down the line. And this one sails out. Bounce. Newcastle now leading 11-9. Owls showing some good fight in that rally there. Simpson, Nagel, and double hit on the Owls. That'll give the point to Newcastle. They're leading by 3, 12-9. Tipped over, Johnson, Simpson, that goes the wrong way, and
Trojans.
Bracken can't run it down, and that's point for the Trojans. And with that, Coach Clark's going to take a timeout as the Owls trail 13-9. Want to thank Once Upon a Child. They have kids stuff with previous experience. Recycle your children's nearly new items and get paid on the spot. That's Once Upon a Child in West McGalliard. Central Indiana Orthopedics. Their world-class team of orthopedics experts is devoted to providing customized treatment plans focused on your needs and goals. Stop in at 3600 West Bethel. And Savage's Ale House, serving Savage's signature sandwiches, burgers, and beer. Find them at Facebook at Savage's Ale House or stop in at 127 North High Street, Muncie. As we return, Owls trailing 9-13. Walker back to serve for the Trojans. Walker serve handled by Simpson. Nagel sets up. Johnson, and it's tipped out of bounds.
By the Trojans. Set up Owls.
Point to the Owls. Trailing 13-10.
Go, 6.
Corinne Meyer back to serve. There's an ace for Meyer.
Meyer, another ace.
A roll shot. Simpson sends it to Nagel. Over in the middle to Jones. Meyer. And ball handling arrow on the Owls gives the point to Newcastle.
Paige Ryan into the front row.
Paige Ryan re-enters the lineup for the Owls. Meyer, Nagel runs under it. And Ryan, swing goes wide, and that's a point for Newcastle. They're back up to a 3-point lead, 15-12. Simpson's pass clears the net. Middle attack. Meyer's there. Nagel pushes it to the back corner. And it's punched over by Newcastle. Scott with the swing. Meyer. All right. And it doesn't clear the net, and that's a point for Newcastle. Newcastle continuing the lead, 16-12. Short serve. Mormon to Nagel. Back to Mormon. She sends it over. Scott. And that's tipped out of bounds.
Emily Scott on the kill.
And short serve, Nagel. Her in. And it's tipped out of bounds.
Nagel to serve.
Katie Nagel back to serve as the Owls trail 17-13. And service there on the Owls. And that's a point for Newcastle. 18-13 is the lead for the Trojans. Meyer, Nagel one-hands it back in. Meyer sends a free ball and a good hustle play. It's tipped over Meyer.
Trojans.
And there was a double hit. Sorry, we're having some connection problems here. We keep going in and out. Apologize for that. But that point goes to the Trojans, and now lead 20. Oh, and that just rolled over. And that's a point for Newcastle as they've opened up an 8-point lead, 21-13. Haley Allison enters the lineup for the Owls. Long serve handled by Meyer. Back in. Free ball sent over by Allison. The swing off the block. Meyer to Bracken. Back row attack from Nagel. And that goes just out of bounds. And that gives Newcastle their 22nd point of the set. I was looking for a side out. Trailing by 9. Meyer Bracken, and can't get it over.
Point Trojans.
Street tipped over.
Opposite side of the antenna.
And the outside of the antenna, and that's a point
for
Newcastle. Men will be back to serve match point as they lead 24-13. And that goes out of bounds. All still alive, but trailing by 10.
Grace Portman to serve. Goes by Lady Trojans.
And sorry about that, but Owls sent it over, but it fell out of bounds, and that'll be the end of this match as the Owls fall to Newcastle in 2 sets. The second one by 25-14. Appreciate everyone viewing, and remember, the next Tuesday will be JV's last match, and that'll be versus Muncie Central in Ball Jam. So please join us in and view the Owls. Thank you for viewing, and switch over to the varsity match to be starting in about 20 minutes.